Well, we've been very strong advocates of production print. Uh, what you had indicated when we talked earlier that you've been doing business with Canon for a long time. Is Canon your provider for production print, or are you selling others besides?
We primarily are Canon, but we also carry Xerox production.
Okay.
So across the 7 states that we cover, we can offer either of those 2 products. In New Hampshire, we can also offer Rico through an acquisition that we had there. But we certainly feel comfortable. I think I got into production in 2008, and so like anything, you have to fail forward in that. And then I think the other piece is we've learned to really choose the right client. You can't take on every print and pay. Some may not be that profitable to take on, and you have to be willing to walk on some of the business, which isn't easy.
One of the things we've been encountering is with dealers in production print, many of them have really latched on to this print on other substrates. Have you become involved in any of that, where they're printing on all kinds of surfaces?
Well, we got into it once you got into production. We took over a university where we ran the print shop for quite some time, and we learned that you really have to have the right product to accomplish what they need done. Otherwise, they can go somewhere else. And so we certainly we carry the Colorado products from Canon. There certainly brings us into a vertical market that we weren't really involved with before. So I think we're learning that business now. I think anything, you have to get that education first before you can really formulate a solid plan.
Dealers respect other dealers. That's always been a case in point. That's never changed. And now when we started doing this Fridays with Frank, that was the whole concept. We're going to have people on who are going to give advice to dealers, because they've proven we would want to listen to them. They've done it, and they know how. But lately, the approach that I've really strongly emphasized, there's about 6 independent dealer groups that meet regularly, and I think we've been to all of them at one point or another. And it's just, to me, such a wonderful environment to sit in a room where there's 25 or 30 dealers, and they get into every group has the same thing. They get in the schedule. Okay, guys, let's open up. What do you want to know? Who's handling this? Did somebody take this line on? I'm selling this and I'm having this problem. How are you dealing with it? I mean, that's unbelievable.
It's great. A chance for me to shout out like Barry Simon, industry leaders like Barry, RJ Young Company allowed us to go to their office. That's where I learned about reclamation in the first place, was through CDA at an RJ Young tour. And so we picked up a lot through the years. And, I did want to shout out Barry, because what an all-star. He really helped me grow my business along the years by being so open and sharing and putting me into positions to meet a lot of good people in this industry. And so there's where you find your mentors. I was a young man going to a lot of those meetings. I'm not so young now, but I met some just great industry people that took the time to take me aside and give me good, solid advice. And I think that's ultimately what we owe the next generation coming up as well.
Print business on other substrates is really going to start taking off. That's just a fundamental belief I have.
I think overall, as a business leader in our industry, you always have to be looking at the emerging markets. We have the copier business. It was mature for a lot of years, and it's become a little bit less mature. So, for Usherwood, we have to take on more territory. We're growing our myth, but we're growing it by market share. We're taking market share from somebody else. And so we have to keep our eye on that. But ultimately, about 7 years ago, Frank, I picked up security and surveillance as a line of business emerging, and I trained on that, and then we took on video conferencing, and we trained on that, and we took on IT. We've been doing since 2001, but we took these emerging markets, and I think the dealers have to look at that and say, well, if I've got a mature market or perhaps a slightly declining market, then I have to have two or three other emerging technologies that have a double digit annual growth rate, and ride those and develop those so that they can be a profitable substitute for what may become a declining business in the future.
I fundamentally believe, based upon what's been published in Japan, this is not something we've imagined or surmised or somebody told us. What the manufacturers, particularly Kyocera and Ricoh, and Konica Minolta, they're making an enormous, or have made enormous investments in printing and textile, which I fundamentally believe will be the next significant opportunity for people like yourselves.
That's right. Yeah. But also takes a large investment. And so, we as dealers, I go back to my father starting in 1976, and yeah, it's our 50th anniversary. So I'm a bit more nostalgic going back, but I know that my father often took on products because he was a curious man, and his curiosity led him to seek business opportunity with a lot of these new products. So I have to say, as a dealer principal, I have to keep my eyes open all the time. I have to be willing to listen to a story of a product, because we don't know the future. We can only do our best to project what it might look like, but we certainly have to continue to grow our revenues and our profitability within our organization on a year-to-year basis.
We certainly appreciate you joining us this morning.